ESU Baseball with head coach John Kochmansky. And coach, as you come off a last weekend series against Westchester, getting 3 out of 4 from the defending Division II champion, puts you guys in a good situation at this point, 22-10 overall, 7-5 in the PSAC East. Just give us first an overview of where you guys are at this point, 32 games into the season.
Well, we got off to a slow start due to the weather, and we weren't able to play enough games and get the consistency that that you need to early in the year. And we played well in spots. We were at times inconsistent offensively, at times inconsistent on the mound. But where we've been consistent is defense, and that's held us in. It's held us in every single game. And that's if there's one area that has allowed us to get to where we are, it's been our defense.
As you guys started your PSAC East schedule, obviously the goal every weekend is to get 2 and then figure out a way to get 3 or 4. You opened up 1-3 against Shippensburg, who was playing extremely well at that point of the season. But you've gotten 3 against Mansfield, 3 against Westchester the last 2 weeks, and put yourself in a good situation at this point.
We have, and that first weekend, we shipped in some polls were as high as 9. Another poll had them as 12 in the country, and we went in there, and our team's different. That was the first conference series for some people, and and we played well enough to get 2. We just didn't win. But I like the way we went about our business, and and Greg, you're right. The goal is to get 2, and then if you can get greedy and try to get 3, or 4, then that's how you pick up and get yourself in a good, good standing.
Last weekend, you had one of your best overall team pitching performances that you've had in your 6 years here at ESU. Every starter pitching into the 7th inning. Brian Ernst took the ball in Game 1 against obviously a very good Westchester team. And took a no-hitter through 6 innings, and that kind of set the tone for you guys last weekend.
It did, and on the mound when he's on like he was last week, and going back to that Ship weekend, he was injured, and Brian spent a month, a month and a week, and didn't pitch at all. So we're fortunate that he's back. His first start, in a month was against Mansfield, and he was pretty spotty. But last week he goes out there and battles, arguably one of the top starters in the conference, and Joe Gunkel, and went pitch for pitch, and Brian struck out 12, and he certainly did set the tone for the rest of the weekend.
Just talk about a couple of guys who you have brought in to pitch, and Ryan Lebreski and Matt Smith, guys who, as you mentioned, that Shippensburg series hadn't had any conference action. Now they've got 3 starts under the belt.
Right, and Ryan's been solid all year long, and he he was the guy that got the win when we played the weekend at Ship, and Matt has he got through that first weekend. He's gotten better and better each weekend, and with our pitching, with Brian on the front end, those 2 in the middle, and Keenan on the back, it gives us a chance to win every game. And as I said, we've been rather inconsistent offensively, but when you have 4 guys that are going to get you late in games, and then you play defense like we do, you play a lot of close games. It gets stressful. It's a little nervous, but you have a chance to win every one of them.
When you look at the offensive side, as you came into the season, you were projecting Zach Menendez to be your leadoff hitter. He was that all year last year, set the school record in walks and stolen bases. That first weekend when you lose him, obviously, that kind of changed the dynamic of what you do offensively, but Joe Benny's moved into the leadoff spot. And Boyer, Ernst, Chris, Tinagli, those guys have solidified the middle of the order.
They have, and that's a big blow. We had a guy that had the school record for stolen bases last year with a chance to set the career record this year, and that's an element that was taken away from us. And everyone in the PSAC knows we're not a small ball team, and that did take away some of what we like to do. But this team is as resilient as can be. You mentioned those few, and you mentioned guys that have come in. Joe Benny coming in to solidify a lineup. Drew Hersick transferring in to solidify this lineup. And every time we've asked somebody, we've been banged up pretty good, and every time we've asked somebody to come in and take over, this team doesn't bat an eye, and we just play. And guys have done a great job with coming in and doing what their roles are.
You've got a large group of seniors, but 2 guys who have really done it for you for 4 years as starters, and really have hit in key situations all 4 years. Eric Boyer in right field, and Brian Ernst, the pitcher, first base. what those guys have done over the bulk of their careers, starters on the 2011 regional team that finished third, and they're put you guys in a position where you can look to contend to do something like that again this year.
Sure, I tell this group of seniors quite often this year that that's the group that has really changed the what East Stroudsburg baseball is, and I owe an awful lot to those guys for one, taking the opportunity and taking the chance to come here when we were trying to change some things. And Brian and Eric, those two guys are going to go down in the record books as one of the top two players in East Stroudsburg University history, not just through this era. And I'm sure you're the numbers guy. If you look at the number of games that we've won in the 4-year period with those two guys, it'll match up, I'm sure, with any 4-year period throughout ESU history.
And Brian is a dual guy, has a chance to do something that only a couple players in the history of the conference have done in terms of hits on offense. He's over 150, he's about 180 right now. And then strikeouts on the mound. Only 3 other guys in the history of the conference have gone 150, 150, and those two. Has to be something pretty special. When you saw him as a high school senior, maybe something you thought you had the chance to do, but nice to be able to see that come full circle.
Right. Brian was an impact player we knew coming in, and he's 90, sits at 91, 93 on the mound. On a bad day, he's 88, 89. And then offensively, he's a guy that you can put. Right now, we've got him in the 2-hole. He's been, pretty much in the 3, 4, or 5 throughout his career. And you know what you're going to get out of him. You're going to get a guy that's going to battle on each at bat. He's going to, slap it around. A couple extra base hits, may run a ball out of the yard here or there. But whether he's hitting second or whether he's hitting fourth, it doesn't matter. You're going to get that consistency out of him. And on the mound, he's doing exactly what we were hoping that he could do, and come in here and he's pitched against number ones throughout his career. So that's also needs to be said, and for him that he's facing the other team's number one, and as you know, this conference has got some really good pitching.
7-5 at this point in the East schedule. You have Bloomsburg this weekend, then you have Kutztown, then you have Millersville. Every weekend out, everybody, like you said, has somebody pretty good on the mound, and and really a veteran conference with the teams that have lineups that have faced good pitching. So. Obviously something you guys are looking forward to competing the next 3 weeks. Sure,
and Bloomsburg this week, coming off of Westchester, anybody who thinks back to, how you did last weekend, well, it doesn't matter. It's, as we're talking on Thursday, if people are still thinking about last weekend, well, Bloomsburg's going to come in here, and they've had really good success against us, their record in the conference is 3-13 right now, but they're starting 3 freshmen, no seniors, actually 1 senior at catcher, and but they're really young, 4 sophomores at times. So they were just learning how to play in the conference, and last week they got 3 out of 4 against Ship. So each weekend, you just got to focus on your opponent and and be as consistent as you can. And for us, if we get what we need to on the mound and we play defense like we are, this team has been so resilient, and we've been lucky enough to find a way to win ball games.
Finally, coming up this weekend, you have 2 events on Saturday: Alumni Day and Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Day. Talk about kind of the dual impact that those 2 things have on your program.
Well, one of the things that we've done here with cystic fibrosis, we've been able to start a campaign, and we started it out a few years ago with dollars for doubles, and pitchers wanted to get a little more involved, so we've kind of focused it and changed it to striking out cystic fibrosis, where our players go out and get pledges, and people donate for each strikeout, we've been able to in our own little way help out with some cystic fibrosis awareness, and donate some money that mainly to the Allentown chapter that helps with cystic fibrosis research. So we're really proud to be a part with them. And this weekend, cystic fibrosis color is purple. We're gonna be sporting purple wristbands, we're looking forward to the event.
All right, and then your alumni day also this weekend. To have a group of guys, you know, you've been head coach 6 years, you were an assistant coach for a couple years before that, so involved in almost a decade of the program, and nice to see those guys and guys who played back in the 80s, 90s come back.
Right. It's always nice to see when guys come back. You know, it kind of shows my age a little bit, but you know, when guys come back and they're telling stories, and you know, you see that they're proud of what we're doing now. You know, and they also get to reminisce at the times that they had here at East Stroudsburg and being part of this program. So, you know, it's always a good day when you get alumni coming back.
All right, this weekend, Friday at Bloomsburg, Saturday home, and then another 2 weekend series left. I know it's a lot of fun.
We'll worry about the next 2 after this one, but it's you know, I told these guys last week I'm 48 years old, and it's more fun than a 48-year-old is supposed to have in his life.